Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, for Sherman at the Cary Pub for hosting us, and thank Ken, but I'll wait until then to see how I do first. So I know a lot of you probably saw the name Bruce on here and Kris Jenner and expect some Kardashians. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but hopefully this is more substantive but less entertaining. So some background. I'm probably the shortest resident here in the group. My wife and I closed on our house just over 4 years ago. We moved here for the reason a lot of people moved here, and that was for the schools for our children. Just because we've lived here 4 years doesn't mean that we don't have long ties in the community. My in-laws live here. In fact, our children are the 4th generation of that side of the family to live in Cary, and ours is the 5th household in the family to be in Cary. So we do have some very long ties, and obviously I've been coming here for things like the Cary Parade for well over a decade, especially as passing right in front of my in-laws' house. So again, that's why we came to Cary. My professional background is there's kind of 2 overarching themes of it. It's problem solving and data analysis, and understanding what's really going on and driving issues. Spent many years designing product for a small manufacturing company, so got very involved in all aspects of that. Spent a couple of years at Motorola, where I was also a Motorola Black Belt, so went through that training. The last 6 years, I've been with Sears Holdings, working on initiatives to reduce product costs and improve customer experience. Was very successful at that. Managed a data analytics team. So a company the size of Sears, especially with the white goods and the customer base, you can understand that there's a lot of data, a lot of understanding what's going on. And then, actually I'm going to be leaving Sears at the end of this week, and next week I'm going to be starting with HCSC with vendor management there. So with that, I've also traveled around the world, been in factories in all of North America and China. So a lot of different experiences there. So when it came to what was going on here in Cary, I just bought a house, and I have to say I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't quite do the proper due diligence on Cary that I should have. We went on what probably a lot of people did, especially who moved here in that 2006 to 8 time range, and that is now really understanding what was going on in the school district. And just going on based off of what the reputation of the school district was, and what the community and the reputation of the community itself, the combination of those two. So we got here and were very surprised very quickly to see how this place that we just invested in just crumbled out from underneath us. And with my background in problem solving, data analysis, project management, it kind of came to I've got 2 choices here. Actually 3. We can leave, which is very difficult to uproot your family, and especially in this housing market, very difficult to do. 2, I can just roll over and play dead, which is not my personality. Or 3, with my personality and what I can do, get involved, and that's why I'm here tonight. And we are seeing our community crumble out from underneath us. It's kind of alluded to. There's also some numbers behind that. I was just working through some numbers today, and that is, one of the things that we are seeing in Cary is that the student population in D26 is going down. And a lot of talk about that as well. It's normal demographic changes. We're just in the cycle of big classes, graduating, lower classes coming in, and that is true. But if you also look at what is going on in, the students are already in Cary, right? So you lose students 2 ways. One, kids are graduating and not enough are coming into the district, and also the kids are already in the district who haven't graduated or leaving for other reasons. And it's very interesting when you look at the trajectory, not only for Cary, but also for the districts around us, is that the year-on-year change of the 1st through 7th graders going into 2nd through 8th graders in Cary through the last couple of years ago was generally increasing year over year. Generally the same thing with the districts around us. Last 2 years, and I don't have the numbers for this class year, but 2 years before that, it was just the opposite. Still some movement of people moving into those surrounding communities, students going in, Cary is just the opposite. It looks like about a third of the students that we've lost in the last 2 years are not because of normal attrition of some kids graduating and not enough kids coming in, but it was the students who've just disappeared. More students are leaving the district, either the parents are pulling from schools and sending them elsewhere in the community, or they're leaving Cary. Which also begs the question is that one of the drivers of why we've got these large classes graduating and not enough kids coming in, is because people are just not choosing to come here. Now, why is this also important for Cary? Well, when you look at the demographics of Cary, and if you look at the housing stock in this community, it shouldn't surprise anybody. It is just street after street, subdivision after subdivision of single-family houses. There's some townhouse communities and very few apartments. You know, you can find a one-bedroom or studio here, I'm sure, but they're very few and far between. In fact, the student population of Cary, of K through 8th graders per household, is about 20 to 25% greater than the rest of Cary County. And it's 50% greater than the rest of the state of Illinois. So when you kind of combine that there's this great student population here, there's a housing stock to support that student population and families, and you look at some of the facts that the 2004 Dartmouth UCLA study that showed that did correlate school district performance to housing prices. The National Association of Realtors, who show that people care about schools very highly, and even for people with children, more highly than price. It's not a surprise that we're seeing what's going on in Cary in terms of the housing prices here, and people choosing not to come in here. So while we think of these schools with its own board and its own little tax line on your property taxes, and unfortunately, you know, slightly different boundaries than the district, than the village, it's very easy to think about it as something separate, but it's not. It's one and the same, especially when you got the demographics of Cary, and that's what I've got some concerns about. But so some things that that concern me about what's going on in the district right now is the planning. There really isn't a lot of planning going on, and not, we talk about running this place like a business. I've been in several companies, learned a lot about project management, seen how it's done in different places, program management, and that's not really being done in a school district like Cary, especially when you've got all the changes that are taking place. And the school board not really holding the administration accountable for that. In fact, it's interesting that one of the things that Floyd had talked about, and we've had some discussions on that, is that Floyd has been trying to push the school board and the administration to do more of that, but unfortunately he seems to be a lone voice out there. Some other things about it is just intellectual and fiscal honesty about what's going on. One of the things I keep on hearing about is we got to prioritize what's going to come back and when it's going to come back. Well, the problem is we keep on talking about the stuff that's going to come back when there's no plan that it can ever come back. And we talk about lowering class sizes, but I've never seen a plan that actually shows that class sizes are going to lower, that we're going to be able to bring back the specials. I've never seen people talk about when, exactly when we're going to be lengthening the school day, when exactly we're going to be able to go back to the old school year. By the way, the shortening of the school day and shortening of the school year, basically from a K through 8th grade education standpoint, removed over a year and a half of education from the students' lives in that time period. When are we going to bring things back like foreign language? Our kids are going to, we're looking at generation of kids who are in high school and never had a foreign language class. And yes, there has been some good movement lately with the plans to bring back some specials, rehiring some PE teachers, rehiring some art teachers and some music teachers, and reintroducing some of that back in, about half of what it was before. Unfortunately, some of the numbers, school board's numbers I've seen, and as we're talking about this intellectual honesty, is that in about 3 or 4 years, we're going to be back to the point in which we're going to either be deficit spending or we're going to be looking at more cutbacks. So we're in a situation where, by their own numbers, we're looking at removing what we've tried so hard to hope to get back. And just make sure people understand what's going on in that respect. So I think I've rambled on quite enough right now. So is there any questions?
Well, no questions.
I'm sorry.
Next we have Scott Epstein.